Sawadee Kap, and welcome back to Tempus TV. Now, if you've watched some previous videos, you'll know that I've mentioned it's not completely necessary for you to know Thai to make it in Thailand, especially if you're living in one of the more touristy areas. But that's not to say that having a few phrases in your back pocket might not make things a little bit easier, and Thais will for sure appreciate it if you made at least a little bit of an effort to know a few phrases. So in today's video, I'm gonna go through my top 9 most common and most practical phrases that I think you could pick up relatively quick to make your Thailand experience a bit more immersive. Let's do it. So get out your notebooks and get ready to step into Tempus's language school. My mom, the English teacher, would be so proud. But, and especially the last 2 I'm gonna teach you today, if you're a guy like me, they are probably the most important, and they're 2 you definitely need to know. So first things first is saying hello and how to introduce yourself. Now in the beginning of the video, you heard me say Sawadee Kap. That's how you would say hello. Now throughout the video with a lot of these phrases, you're gonna be hearing me say Kap at the end. Now, if you're a female, everywhere I say Kap, you would say Ka. The thing with Thai is there's quite a few phrases and stuff that change depending on whether you're a guy or a girl. So pretty much anywhere you hear me say Kap, you would replace that with Ka. So to introduce yourself, you might go something like Sawadee Kap, Chan Chu, your name, Kap. So for me, it would be Sawadee Kap, Chan Chu, Tempus Kap. Now, once again, if you're a girl, you would insert your name and then you would say Ka at the end. Now, of course, I am still in the very beginning process of learning Thai, so I'm not gonna get all the pronunciation right. Some of my words might be jumbled around a little bit, but for the most part, most Thais, if you get it generally close, they're gonna know what you're talking about. Now, another one that is obviously very great to know, just to make sure you're being polite, of course, this one's actually pretty easy, is how to say thank you. Pretty straightforward, kapun kap. Now, another one that you're probably for sure gonna run into, especially if you're just visiting Thailand, you're not gonna have your own transportation, so you're probably gonna need to take a taxi. Now, if for some reason you're not using the bull tap like we suggested, you're gonna see one of the yellow or blue taxis that you might see in the video sitting on the streets. And these taxis are supposed to work the same way that they do in America. You get in, let them know where you're going, and they turn on a little meter, and then they start going. And of course, the longer they drive, that meter goes up, and that's what you pay. But you might have seen in some other videos that some taxi drivers like to say that their meter is broken, so they can charge extra, or maybe try to get you to pay way more than you're supposed to. So a really good one to know is asking if they're gonna use the meter when you get in the car. And how you would say this is chai mita. So as in meter, chai mita my crop. So once again, if you were a lady, it would be chai mita my ka. And if you're a guy, chai mita my crop, which means essentially, are you using the meter? Now, once you have found your fair and honest taxi driver, we're gonna go over just a few things that can help him navigate a little bit easier. So if you see your turn coming up and you gotta make a left, you can say liao sai krap, which means make a left. And if he's gotta make a right, it would be liao kwa krap. Now, if he's about to turn and you need him to keep going straight, you would say drong pai kap. And if you're coming up to your hotel and need him to stop there, you would say jot tini krap. One thing to note too, for all my people who have been exposed to Spanish in their lives, one thing to take into account too is a lot of the times in Thai, they tend to roll the R's as well, like they do in Spanish. So just for your pronunciation, kind of keep that in mind. It's not quite as aggressive as most Spanish, but a lot of the time they do end up rolling the R in Thai as well. So just something for you to know. So another important one, no matter what your plan is in Thailand, you're gonna have to spend some money. There's gonna be a time where you're buying something from somebody, that's for sure. So maybe you're at the night market down here in Jom Tien, you wanna grab some food, or maybe you're over at the night bazaar in Pattaya and you're looking to buy some clothes. a lot of the times you're gonna wanna know how much it is because prices aren't listed most of the time. So how we would say that in Thai is Tao Rai Kap. So Tao Rai means how much, and then Kap is essentially Krab Kap. Sometimes I mess it up, sometimes I get it right. But essentially that means please, thank you. It's kind of the formal way of asking a question or asking for directions or anything. It's just turn left, thanks, essentially. If I had to put it somewhere in English, it doesn't mean exactly that. It's just a more polite way to end the things you say. So if you're buying anything and you need to know how much, you would say Tao Rai Krap or Tao Rai Ka. Now another thing you're gonna be doing for sure is eating, right? You didn't come all the way to Thailand not to try the food. So when it comes to ordering food, it's pretty straightforward. All you would really have to say is find what you wanna eat and put ow in front of that. Now there's a few ways to say this, ow, and I think the other one's so, but I'm pretty sure ow is more common. So you would say ow, insert food here, krap. So say I wanted to order pad thai, ow pad thai kap. So, and once again, if you're a lady, it would be ow, pad thai, ka. That one's pretty easy. Now, ow can mean give me or can I have. It's a lot of these translations to English might sound a little bit rough or might sound rude the way that I'm translating it, but when you say it in Thai, it doesn't necessarily directly translate, so don't worry about that. As long as you're throwing kap or ka at the end of it, you'll be okay. Now, if you are eating some Thai food and it's unfortunate, but maybe you don't do spicy really well, that's something you should definitely know how to say in Thai. In Thai, spicy is pet. So maybe you just want something a little bit spicy, but not too crazy. Another one that's really good to know is nit noi. Nit noi means a little bit. So say you wanted to order some food and you didn't want it to be that spicy, you would say pet nit noi krap. So to kind of tie some together, you would say ow pad kapao krap, pet nit noi krap. Can I have a pad kapao? A little bit spicy. So now that you have wolfed down your Thai food, you ordered it in Thai, you got a little bit of a smile out of the cook and the server. Now you want to give your compliments to the chef, right? Thai food is amazing and you want to let them know that you really appreciate it and it was very good. So I think another good one to learn is how to say delicious or very good. Obviously, when you're saying it in reference to food, that means delicious. It was great, and this one is pretty easy, aroy. And that one is actually pretty easy, it's just one word, aroy. So if you said it, they came out, asked you how everything was, aroy kap means very good, thank you, or don't forget, if you're a lady, it would be aroy kap. Now, if you only pick up a couple things from this mediocre Thai lesson, it is definitely these last two. These last two are things that every responsible traveling man needs to know to make sure that he gets the most out of his time in Thailand. And I'll give you a clue on the next one. It has to do with something you're gonna get if you're a little bit thirsty. And of course, that means beer, right? You gotta order a glass of beer every once in a while. Maybe you gotta order a bottle of beer. Now in Thailand, just like in most places of the world, beer comes in bottles or in drafts. So one thing that you're gonna need to know is how to say draft or glass or bottle. So to say glass, we would say giao. That one's kind of rough. I kind of stumble over that every once in a while. So giao means glass. And then if you want a bottle instead, it would be kuat. So if you wanted to order a glass of beer, we would say ao bia. And beer in Thai is pretty easy. It just sounds like you're saying beer with a British accent, kinda. So we would say ao bia nung giao krap. So that means, can I have one glass of beer, please? Now, if you wanted a bottle of beer, instead of giao, you would just place it with kuat, which means bottle. So now we have learned how to introduce ourselves. We've learned how to say hello. We've learned how to say thank you. We've learned how to order food roughly. We've learned how to get in a taxi and give proper directions. So say you meet a nice Thai lady, you know how to introduce yourself in Thai, you know how to get to the restaurant where you're gonna eat dinner, you know how to order your food for the most part, you know how to tell the chef it's delicious, you know how to order you guys some beers. Now the last thing left, like any gentleman would do, you have to let your lady know how beautiful she looks that night, right? So the next thing that we're gonna learn is how to tell somebody that they are very, very beautiful. Put a star next to this one if you don't take anything else from this half-ass lesson. This is the one to hold on to, boys. So let's get her done. This one is pretty easy, but you gotta be careful because Thai is very big on enunciation. Two words can be spelled the exact same way, but depending on how you pronounce them, they can mean very different things. And this is one of them. So if you wanted to tell your lovely date how beautiful she is, you would say kun soi mak, means you are very beautiful, but you have to be careful. So with sui, say it essentially with one syllable. Now if you said kun soi mak, kind of like two syllables like sui instead of soy, that can mean you are very unlucky, which isn't too insulting, but it can definitely lead for a little bit of confusion. 9 times out of 10, girl's gonna know what you're talking about, but that's definitely one to hold on to. It was one of the first things that I learned. Now, if you have any phrases in Thai that you think are very necessary to know, or maybe there's just things that are fun to say that you feel like Thai people can really appreciate or helps you just enjoy your experience in Thailand, feel free to let me know down in the comments. And to all my new Thai viewers I've gotten through the past couple months, if I did murder any of these, too bad. Feel free to let me know down in the comments. Correct all of us so we can get better at what we're trying to learn. As always, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Tempus TV and tuning in to me about to get hit by a car. If you did enjoy this video and you would like to learn a little bit more Thai, especially as I'm going on my way of learning, this helps me at the same time, feel free to let me know down in the comments and I'd be happy to make some more. As always, I hope you guys have a great day. We'll catch you in the next one.